Alright, so today we're going to be discussing the proper way to tint your taillights with Plasti Dip without using the Plastidip Smoke. So we're just going to use matte black and Glossifier, and I'll show you how I do it with our beloved family workhorse, the Ford Expedition. Since we don't need a full can of black, I'm just going to choose from my array of partially used cans. That one'll do. Ta-da! As with everything we dip, we're always going to hit it with a nice coat of pre-dip spray. Make sure it's all clean and it's not going to come off before we are ready for it to. We're not going to film the masking because I prefer to use my favorite masking process, which is, cutscene masking. And it's done. So you know the technique. We left the edge there for us to peel around. And I always put my Plasti Dip in warm water before I spray it. And it's been sitting there for a little while, so I'm going to go get it and we're going to put a coat on. It's really windy and I would not recommend doing it in the wind, but we're gangsters, so. All right. So just like with anything else, you want a nice light coat for your first coat. And then that's actually all the black we're gonna do. The real secret is the Glossifier, because you still want to be able to see the lights, obviously, or the cops aren't gonna be friends with you. But you also want enough coats that's going to be protective and you're going to be able to remove it. So we're going to let that dry and then we're going to go ahead with the Glossifier, and we're probably going to do 4 or 5 coats of Glossifier. The coat is finished. There's the wind, that's nice. And it did achieve the effect that we wanted, so now we just need to get more coats on there. We're going to use the Glossifier in the can. And we're still trying to fight the wind. Remember, with the Glossifier, you want heavy coats, or not heavy, you want it to come out wet, but you don't want it too heavy because it will run easier than regular Plasti Dip. So there's our first coat of Glossifier. We're going to go in, let it sit, come back out and do another in about 10 minutes. Alright guys, so we got 4 coats of Glossifier on top of our 1 coat of black, and for some reason there's still a discrepancy among people as to whether or not Glossifier peels like regular Plasti Dip. So we're going to put an end to that real quick, but I just did want to point out, as I said you shouldn't be doing it in the wind, I shouldn't be doing it in the wind. I'm not sure if you can see it, but we did get a pretty big run right there on the end, right where the wind blew it all towards the center of the light. So this will probably come off and we'll probably redo it, but for the testing purposes it works great. Here's what we started with, and despite the runs, I still think it came out looking pretty dang good. kind of hard to see with the shadows, I know, but it's definitely got a nice look to it. And we're gonna test out the lights and see how well you can see them. Alright, so the Expedition's got a thrown rod, so it's been sitting for a while and the battery's dead. So we had to use the trusty F250 to test it out, test out the lights. Alright, so it is noticeably darker, but that's with any tint. It does appear, however, that it'll be within legal limits. So there you go, and we'll do a night test for you as well. Alright guys, that does it. The lights came out nice. At night you can't even tell which one's which, and during the day you can definitely see them, so I wouldn't worry about cops hounding you over Plastidip. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We got some cool stuff with Plastidip and cars coming up on this channel, as well as some other shenanigans.